Welcome to PrepsNet Coach Speak with Fultondale High School head football coach Jake Hogan, powered by the Fultondale Wildcats shop. Visit FultondaleWildcats.com for all of your Wildcats gear. Here's your host, Aubrey Johnson.
Welcome in, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, I know it wasn't the debut that you were hoping for, but Friday night you played Fairview. You lost 48-0. Tell us about the game.
Well, I mean, obviously we would like to perform better,
Right.
but it was what we expected, and it was what we needed. You know, last time we talked, we discussed, you know, the quality of a program that they're running up there,
Sure.
and they, you know, this isn't first and foremost, you know, hats off to Fairview. I mean, they've got a really good squad, some really good players. They do things really well. From our standpoint, what I was pleased with is I felt like our players never quit. We made a lot of mistakes, you know, and one of the things that I told them after the game, you know, you've got the first one under your belt, you know, and that's the most important thing. And that's a 10-0 region champion in 5A that came here, and they had 22 seniors on the team. You know, we started 3, and so I felt like we played really tight. But the good news about it is when you have a quality opponent like that, it reinforces a lot of things that you talk about on a daily basis.
Yes.
You know, we talk about our being better practice players, and you know, when we make these mistakes, when you have a quality opponent, they can show you the detriment of those mistakes, and I think that it does a better job of teaching than just practice ever could. So again, we would have loved to have performed better, but at the end of the day, I think it was everything that we needed it to be.
Got it. Okay, so what lessons came out of Friday night that you can use going forward?
Well, I think the positives were first and foremost that our kids didn't quit. You know,
that's
they
important.
had every opportunity, and you know, we have a couple of mishaps on kickoff return early, which is 100% my fault. Didn't have them prepared in the right way, but then we get the ball, all right, and we get a couple of first downs, and then all of a sudden a lightning delay. You know, so with a young team, we have to. All right, you got a little bit of momentum. Let's go into the locker room for a while.
Right.
So I mean,
stops and starts. Yeah.
Well, and it was just. I think that it was one of those situations where the adversity of everything, and then the mistakes that were made at full speed, and being able to see those. I mean, I think that we can build off of all of it. And like I said, the most important thing for me was that our kids didn't lay down. You know, I think that they continued to fight right up until the end. And I told them at halftime, you know, at this point, we're grading effort. You know, and that's what I'm looking for. And they responded to it. And I think that talking to all of them Saturday, they're ready to come in, get to work, and let's correct mistakes.
Okay, good deal. So, any injuries in the game, Coach?
No, we left pretty healthy.
That's
so,
nice.
Yeah, that's always a positive.
Yeah,
so.
That's fantastic, really. This Friday, you host Centerpoint, and I wanted to know what you would expect to see from the Eagles.
Well, similar situation that we're in. Coach King's coming in, taking over for Coach Bates, who went on. And they lost to Bessemer City last week, but we're in a really tight game up until late, and then just kind of let it slip away from them. I think they're fairly young as well. And I think it should be a really good game. Be two teams that are eager to get in that win column, you know. And so obviously close proximity, crosstown rivalry, and I think the kids are going to play hard, and I think it's a good opportunity. I know for us, and I'm sure Coach King over there feels the same way. We're just eager to get back on the field.
Sure.
You know that. So I think both programs are probably looking forward to it.
Okay, good deal. You mentioned Coach King. He is also new over there at Centerpoint, and how do you prepare in a situation where you really don't have much film at all? How do you prepare for a team like that?
Well, I think the same as they are. I mean, we've got one film on each other, and you can get kind of a 30,000-foot view of what their identity is offensively, defensively, and special teams. And then obviously like even the depth chart's not completely solidified at this point. So you've got to, at the end of the day, you've got to make the best decisions that you can based off of the video evidence that you have. And I think that early on in the year, it's more about you than it is the opponent anyway. So that's the big thing.
Okay, good deal. So looking 2 weeks out, on Friday, September 5th, you have a home game against Good Hope. What are you expecting to see from them?
Everything that Good Hope does. I mean, that staff's been in place for a long time.
Yes, they have.
And they're going to be one of the reasons that I scheduled the Fairview game. Similar type of kids, close to one another. Going to be hard-nosed. They're going to play very physical. Going to be very sound in everything that they do. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a very good matchup.
Right. You mentioned the coach over there. Coach Scott has been there. This is his 11th year. They went 10-2 last year, so a very successful program. But since he's been there a long time, are you able to glean some tendencies, some trends that are their go-to as far as offense and defense?
I think schematically you can, of course. I mean, people are always going to have an identity and tendencies, but I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to, especially with somebody that's been in their seat that long, it's how hard their kids are going to play.
Right.
And I think that when somebody's been at a program as long as he has, I think that's what more than anything, that's what you've got to prepare for. They're not going to, at the end of the day, football's football. You can line up in the wing tee or the spread or the 3-4, the 4-3. It's a matter of how hard your kids play and how disciplined they play. And I think he's done a really good job of doing that. So that's what we're preparing for, a fourth quarter game.
Okay, excellent. Very good. Well, Coach, that's our show. We certainly appreciate your time. And as always, we appreciate yours. Join us again in a couple of weeks for another Fultondale episode of Coach Speak.